American Top 40.
It's time now for an oldie by the big star who claims her husband fell in love with her because she reminded him of a combination of his two favorite people, movie star Sophia Loren and ex-football player Y.A. Tittle. The two met when each was on the brink of stardom. He was an accomplished singer, actor, dancer, and she was Miss Marmalstein in the show I Can Get It For You Wholesale. And she was stopping the show every night with her number. Her husband was in the show, too. And he remembers not having enough nerve at first to ask her for a date. But he got over that, obviously, and even got around to asking her to marry him, which went to show what a great eye he had for talent and beauty. Well, there was nothing wrong with her taste either, because she consented to becoming Mrs. Elliott Gould before she went on to become one of the biggest stars ever to hit Broadway, films, and television. Now, with her hit from 1965, here's Mrs. Elliott Gould, Barbra Streisand.
American Top 40.
Now our AT40 special by the girl who has more gold albums than any other female recording artist. She's the superstar who used to sit on her doorstep in Brooklyn when she was a teenager and daydream like a lot of kids about being a star. Well, not many dreams like that come true, but hers did. Her first big national exposure was on the Dinah Shore Show. She sang Happy Days Are Here Again, like we'd never heard it sung before, and went on to become the biggest female super entertainer of the past decade. She starred in Broadway musicals, motion pictures, and television specials, and has more gold LPs, 7 of them, than any other woman in pop music history. With her biggest single from 1964, here's Barbra Streisand.
People. American Top 40.
Now on AT40, I have the current hit by the superstar of stage, screen, and records, who at the peak of her career tried to move into a certain apartment building in New York City, but was refused because she wasn't the right sort of person. Well, this star had only won an Oscar for her very first movie. She'd been named Entertainer of the Year by the Friars Club, voted Best Dressed Actress by the Costume Designers Guild. She'd also been greeted by the Queen of England, but when she tried to buy a co-op apartment on Park Avenue for $240,000, the other tenants didn't cooperate. One of them was quoted as saying, "We don't want flamboyant Hollywood types." Well, for a while, the star considered making a formal complaint to New York's Commission on Human Rights. But then she got too busy making more hit movies, spectacular nightclub appearances, and top 40 hits, just like this one, a recent #1, now at number 3. Here's superstar Barbra Streisand. An Academy Award nominee for Best Actress of the Year again this year, Barbra Streisand with the #3 best-selling song in the USA, The Way We Were.
American Top 40.
Here now at American Top 40 is the current smash by a female superstar who once auditioned for a record company and got turned down flat because she sang through her nose. Well, that's what the record company's chief talent scout told her, and I don't think he worked there for long after that because she went on to become one of the biggest stars ever in every phase of the entertainment business, Broadway, TV, movies, and hit records. At the moment, she's up for an Academy Award for Best Actress of 1973, and this, her former #1 hit, is up for the award Best Movie Song of the Year. Here's Barbra Streisand with The Way We Were. This is Casey Kasem in Hollywood, and we're counting down the 100 top hits of 1977. You know, for the past 10 years, this next artist has been one of the brightest shining stars in all of show business. She's the only performer in history to win a major award in every field of entertainment. Listen to this: the Oscar, the Emmy, the Grammy, the Georgie, and the Tony. She won an Oscar for starring as Fanny Brice in Funny Girl. She won 3 Grammys. She won an Emmy for a TV special. She got the George M. Cohan Award for live performances in concerts and nightclubs, and a Tony Award as Star of the Decade for her work on Broadway. Not to mention the award she's proudest of, a Best Song Oscar for co-writing with Paul Williams the love theme from A Star Is Born. I guess you know I'm talking about Barbra Streisand, who can do it all. Last summer, she hit #4 with My Heart Belongs to Me. For the year, it's number 71.
I got the feeling. American Top 40.
You're listening to our special countdown of the 100 biggest hits of 1977. American Top 40 tabulated these rankings from Billboard magazine's weekly record charts. I'm Casey Kasem. Now, number 4. This song is by an artist who's won more major performance awards than anybody in the history of show business. She's won the Oscar for movie acting, the Emmy for television, the George M. Cohan Award for concert and nightclub performance, and the Tony for her work on the Broadway stage. But the award that pleased her the most was an Oscar for songwriting. Paul Williams wrote the words, and she composed the music of the love theme from the motion picture A Star is Born. And they shared an Oscar for Best Song. Her recording of it also hit number 1 last winter, and it became the 4th biggest hit of the year. Here's the fantastic Barbra Streisand.
American Top 40.
I'm Larry McKay for Casey Kasem, and the next song in our survey belongs to the only woman in the history of the entertainment industry to win an Academy Award and hit number 1 on the Pop Singles Survey. Now, over the years, there have been many singers whose success as recording artists was so great, the film industry decided to capitalize on their popularity by putting them in the movies. Among them, superstars like Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and Doris Day. And of course, there have also been many actors who have tried to use their popularity on television or in the movies to launch a recording career. Familiar faces like John Travolta, Shelley Fabares, David Soul, and Sean Cassidy. Well, out of that large group of media crossovers, only 3 people have ever been honored with both an Oscar and a number 1 song during their careers. 2 of them were men, Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra. And the only woman to do it picked up her first Oscar back in 1965 for her starring role in the film Funny Girl. 9 years later, she hit number 1 on the Pop Singles chart with the theme song of another motion picture she starred in, The Way We Were. The lady, of course, is Barbra Streisand. And this week, she's up to number 35 with the love theme from The Eyes of Laura Mars.
I've never been wrong.
American Top 40.
This is American Top 40. I'm Mike Cleary, sitting in for Casey Kasem. Now we're up to the latest hit by the lady who has more gold records than any other female singer in history. Altogether, this Grammy and Oscar award-winning superstar has collected a total of 23 golden discs, awarded to her for 4 million-selling singles: Stony End, Evergreen, The Way We Were, and You Don't Bring Me Flowers, and 19 albums that sold at least 500,000 copies each. She began compiling her collection of precious metal back in 1964 when she picked up her first gold record for the second album of her career. Her latest gold record was awarded for her recent number 1 album, titled Barbra Streisand's Greatest Hits, Volume 2. And by now you know I'm talking about Barbra Streisand, who with 23 gold records hanging on her wall has amassed more gold than any other female singer in history. Currently duetting with Donna Summer, Barbra Streisand puts a little more gold on the wall. At number 24, here's Summer and Streisand, and No More Tears.
Now, as we continue our countdown of the 40 most popular hits in the nation, I'd like to welcome WMGW in Meadville, Pennsylvania to the American Top 40 family. Glad to have you with us. My name's Casey Kasem, and we're counting down the most popular records in the USA. In the history of show business, a lot of super singing stars have become just as big in motion pictures. Among the men, the top 3 have to be Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, and Elvis Presley. But trying to pick one of these 3 giants as the leader in combined earnings from both films and records will be taking a shot in the dark. The Internal Revenue Service probably knows, but they're not telling. So let's leave the men's category and move over to the women's side, where it's easier to sort them out. Second place in the category of biggest combined earnings in films and records probably belongs to Doris Day. Doris started off in the 40s with a string of hit singles and albums and starred in more than 30 movies. Now, if Doris Day comes in second in combined film and recording earnings, what kind of superwoman holds first place? And how did she do it? Well, not on phonograph records, because this lady's success on the charts is about equal to Doris Day's. This woman did it with 11 blockbuster movies, including A Star is Born, What's Up, Doc?, Funny Girl, and The Way We Were, whose grosses averaged $20 million each. And during a period when big Hollywood stars like her demand and get astronomical salaries. And that's why Barbra Streisand ranks as the top money-making woman in films and records combined. Barbra Streisand. Here's her current hit. She's at number 20 with Coming In and Out of Your Life.
American Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem, and these are the 40 biggest acts of the 80s so far. Well, now we're up to another of the acts in this special countdown who began charting as far back as 1964. Her first hit was a song called People. She's a superstar who's recorded a few duets with other solo stars in the past few years. They were huge hits, and 3 of them charted in the 80s. No More Tears with Donna Summer, and 2 with Barry Gibb, Guilty and What Kind of Fool. But her biggest hit of the decade so far, she sang all by herself. A number 1 smash in 1980. That's Barbra Streisand's biggest hit since the beginning of the decade, Woman in Love. And Barbra Streisand is at number 28 as we count down the top acts of the 80s so far.
Hits from coast to coast.
Based on 3 decades of hitting the Billboard charts, including the top 10 in the 80s, these are the longevity leaders, the triathlon of rock and roll. And here's another lady of longevity, the only performer to win major awards in every field of entertainment. She's won the Oscar, the Emmy, the Tony, the Georgie, that's for her nightclub shows, and the Grammy. We caught this superstar backstage at a Grammy Award show where she had just won Best Female Pop Vocal for her album of Broadway show tunes, the Broadway album, which shot to number 1.
It was a lovely surprise, I must say. You know, I didn't count on any kind of number 1. I just hoped the audience would have liked it, and the public has supported me again. They're just fabulous to have recognized this music. I mean, it was a surprise to a lot of people, but I'm really thrilled about it.
At number 16, here's Barbra Streisand. This is a number 1 song from 1980, Woman in Love.
I'm Shadoe Stevens on American Top 40. We're up to another debut this week, and this one is the 20th Top 40 hit for Barbra Streisand. It's also the second Top 40 hit for Miami Vice star Don Johnson. Debuting at number 38, here's the first chart single for Streisand and Johnson together. It's called Till I Loved You. I'm Shadoe Stevens, and now, once again, my friends, it's the latest fix, hot off the facts. Music. It isn't money that's motivating George Harrison to go out on his first tour in 17 years. He says, I needed an excuse to quit smoking. Meanwhile, Barbra Streisand, who doesn't exactly love life on the road either, is thinking about touring just for the bucks. She says, I don't work very often, so I might have to sing to pay for my house. Sure. Barbra Streisand has donated her Malibu estate to the Santa Monica Conservatory of the state of California. The estate, located in the beautiful Ramirez Canyon, has 5 houses on 24 lush acres, and it's worth an estimated $15 million, and will now become the Streisand Center for Conservatory Studies. And that does it for this week's edition of Music News.
Casey's Countdown.
And that means we're up to the brand new number 1 song in the USA. It's by a female superstar who Entertainment Weekly recently ranked among the 100 greatest movie stars of all time. It was a special collector's issue released for the holidays, and in it, the editors listed legendary film icons like Humphrey Bogart, Katharine Hepburn, Jimmy Stewart, Marilyn Monroe, and John Wayne. Interestingly, of their top 100, 4 also crossed over as major stars on the pop chart. One is a legend who scored with more than 300 chart hits during the pre-rock era, and whose recording of White Christmas is the biggest-selling single of all time. Of course, the great Bing Crosby. Another is the woman who gave the world Over the Rainbow, Judy Garland. A third is a singing legend whose career began in 1940 and stretched well into the rock era, the great Frank Sinatra. The 4th singer on Entertainment Weekly's list of the 100 greatest movie stars of all time is a woman who's currently starring in a movie she directed. The Mirror Has Two Faces. She also sings the love theme to that film with Bryan Adams. 5 weeks ago, it debuted on our survey. 3 weeks ago, it entered the top 10. And now, it's become the biggest hit in the land. The brand new number one song in the USA on Casey's Countdown is I Finally Found Someone by Barbra Streisand. And there it is, the brand new number one song in the USA on Casey's Countdown, I Finally Found Someone by Barbra Streisand and Bryan Adams. And there you have them, the 20 most popular songs on this week's National AC chart according to Radio and Records, the industry's number one newspaper. Casey's Countdown comes to you every week from Hollywood. If you have a request and dedication or a question for us, write to Casey's Countdown, P.O. Box 4300, Hollywood, California, 90078. Or you can fax us at 213-272-4300. This program is a presentation of Westwood One Entertainment, produced by Lori Crimmy. Our staff includes Merrill Schindler, Ben Harris, Zach Clay, and Gonzalo Venecia. Production engineering by Al Ramirez with Michael Cooper, Chad Childers, Sal Cosio, and Sado Cosio. Executive producer Norm Pattis. My name's Casey Kasem. Remember to join us next week when we start our special annual year-end survey. The biggest adult contemporary hits of 1996 on our way to the number one song of the year. Until then, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. And leave your dial tuned right where it is.